Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast, Dragon Ball Edition. Today we are talking about Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 97. We are on the road to manga chapter 100, and we have the Dragon Ball expert with us, Mr. Mitch Oso. How are you doing today, sir?
Well, as always, doing fantastic. Another manga chapter out. One more chapter closer to finally being done with this arc.
A- Amen to that. We are finally in the final battles against Cell Max. This is 97. So the way they're ending this chapter, it shouldn't make it to three more mangas. It should be done at least. I think it'll be done at 99. And then the new thing, the seeds of the new thing will be in 100. Just from the way they ended this chapter.
Yeah, and which we'll discuss that here at the end. All right, so everybody, bear with me. I have only read this chapter once, unlike some of the other chapters in which I've read. I try to do a couple of read-throughs, but and that read-through was only once about 2 hours ago prior to reading this. So well, we'll get started. It's kind of honestly, it's kind of basic. Again, if you've seen the movie, you know kind of the gist as to what's going on here. But chapter 97, Rampaging Cell Max, and chapter starts off with the previous chapter ending with Goten and Trunks charging towards Cell Max so that they can give Piccolo and Gohan and the Gammas, a little extra time to rest before they jump into the fight there. And they start charging, and you think that they're going to make a big splash on the scene here. They do make a splash, but it's not against Cell Max, it's against their faces once Cell Max smacks him with his tail, knocks him over, and everybody is just kind of like they're kind of a little stunned that they were taken out so quickly. Bulma makes a remark that they haven't been training because they've been grounded for over a half a year. Um, Time wise, that doesn't make sense. But they give it another go, and they power up Super Saiyan to go and charge at Cell Max, and the Gammas jump in too. But they do make the remark, though, that Cell Max is not used to his body and his power yet, so now's the best time to go and fight him. And we just see some just basic, agility between Trunks and Goten, and the Gammas are a little bit surprised to see how well in which they're fighting. Also, to put the context, um, Goten and Trunks have transformed into their superhero personas. Saiyaman X1 and X2, and the Gammas realize that their gimmick of being superheroes is based off of Goten and Trunks because Dr. Hedo explained to them that when they were enemies, he designed the Gammas kind of off of them. So they realize that Goten and Trunks are what inspired them. They team up. They actually do a superhero pose together, sort of reminiscent of the Ginyu days. And they charge towards Cell Max and they do a joint attack. They call it Cyclone Style Tornado. And they smack right into. I'm just going to call him Cell. I'm not going to call him Cell Max. I'm just too lazy. And Cell gets like blasted in the gut by all four of them, and he gets launched into the side of the cliff. And everybody's like, "Wow, holy shit, that actually worked." Piccolo, especially, was a little bit shocked, and so was Gohan. And Piccolo tells Gohan that it seems like he's ready to fight. And are you ready to fight again? And Gohan said, at least enough to turn Super Saiyan. Uh, Cell appears again, and the four are kind of surprised that their attack didn't do enough damage. And well, they're about to get their shit rocked here, where Cell Max, he gets around behind him, starts smacking them all around, and uh, so on and so forth. And the Gammas, they hold their own a little bit better than what Goten and Trunks did. And Piccolo and Gohan make the remark that Cell is getting stronger and stronger. And Trunks makes a recommendation in which Goten and him fuse. So we get the fusion dance and a screw up in which top fingers are not aligned correctly. So we get fat Gotenks again. Um, and of course, fat Gotenks just going to get his shit smacked. So he charges towards Cell, doesn't end well, and Bulma's in charge of watching Pan and Piccolo and Gohan. They power up and they charge towards the battle, and Android 18 joins in the fight. Still showing no sign of any sort of PTSD towards going up against another Cell. Oh well, and Krillin kind of stays back for a little bit, and we see some shots of Piccolo and Piccolo kneeing the back of Cell's neck, and 18 blasting him from behind. Gohan powering up Kamehameha, and so on and so forth. But all the attacks are truly not doing a lot to slow down Cell here. And then Gamma 1 makes a remark to everybody to start attack Cell's his forehead, his head, top of his head, and that it's his only weakness. And Dr. Hedo did that on purpose just in case um, in moments like this where Cell just goes rampant. And but Gamma 2 makes a remark that when Cell's head explodes, whoever is the one that did that kill shot up close to it, it won't survive that blast. So, and well, you see Gamma 1, Gamma 2, they're pulling out their pistols and they're just, trying to do as much damage to the top of the Cell, but the Cell keeps blocking everything. Tons of other people just keep, you know, trying to keep last, but Cell's on the move and he doesn't make it easy for him. And um, that's basically what it is. It's kind of just a cat and mouse game through some of these just to try to get the shot in. And Gamma 2 and Gamma 1, they devise a little strategic plan to try to distract them. Where Gamma 2 charges up his blast and Gamma 1 gets Cell's attention and puts him in prime position to get blasted. In which um, he does get blasted, but not on the head. I'm actually just trying to look at this real quick. It doesn't look like it's on Cell's head. It looks like it's almost kind of in front of him, but then Piccolo is the one that comes um, out of the blue and blasts Cell on top of his head. Cell makes a remark that it seems like he did take some damage, but in actuality, he's perfectly fine. He gets a lot more pissed off. And then we see, just like we did in the movie, Cell's, I don't want to call it his ace attack, but it's a very unique attack where he basically just has energy beams coming out of, all of the holes on his tail and out of his, fingers, and then little, pores on his body. He's just blasting everything. But it doesn't seem to really harm anyone. It almost harms Pan, but Krillin's there to save the day. And Pan makes a remark that she can't fly when Krillin tells her to just, start flying. And Bulma says that she'll take Pan and they'll just, get on out of here. And this point, after Cell's little temper tantrum, everyone's kind of just chilling behind a barrier, trying to make a game plan here. And Gamma 2 makes the beginning of the plan where he's spoiler alert, I guess if you haven't seen the movie, where he's basically going to sort of sacrifice himself and try to kill Cell Max. But before they do that, Gamma 2 points out to Gamma 1 that Dr. Hedo is still alive and that he needs to be a little more observant. And we see Dr. Hedo here, passed out in the rubble. And that is where the chapter ends. So just a whole bunch of fighting and just setting up for remaining little bits of this chapter or arc, I meant. So
Yeah, so differences from the movie, the beginning. I mean, Goten and Trunks fighting one in those uniforms because they didn't even have those uniforms in the movie because the X1, X2 didn't exist. And them going Super Saiyan in this fight because obviously they're not trying to sell toys anymore because they've already sold the toys. So they could show other people transforming because I mean it would make more sense for Goten and Trunks to transform for them to not transform like they did in the movie. Also, other difference from the movie is the Goten and Trunks's superhero personas being the inspiration to Gamma 1 and 2. So that was different. Seeing the four of them fight together was cool. That's obviously different from the movie. Giving Goten and Trunks some sort of relevancy.
a little
Uh,
screen time.
yeah, then I also laughed at I think it's on page 12 and 13, the move out thing. If they had one more person in that picture, that would have been Ginyu Force S.
I always need to pull up like a Ginyu Force pose because I mean it just seems because looking at Gamma 2, I'm trying to think. I'm like Ginyu. So yeah, I'm looking at the pose right here. So Birder is sort of like the pose in which Gamma 2
Mm-hmm.
takes on right now because Birder, at least in this image, um, I mean, he just does the T shape. Now he has his left knee up in the air, whereas Gamma 2 has his right knee up. But that's about it, I'd say.
Yeah,
Um,
so that
oh,
was cool
but
from the different standpoint, seeing them go at it. I mean, as together while the others are chilling, and then finally they hop in the fight, and then Go Tanks, even though he failed at the fusion, still fighting, which we've never seen a fat version of the fusion contribute that much before. Usually it's just a dud.
you know,
But like we said, it ended with Gamma 2 is about to make a sacrifice. So my prediction is the last page of the next chapter will be the unveiling of Beast Gohan.
at least let me think. Or I'm trying to think. Or would Gamma's no, well, I don't know. Because here are the things that need to happen. So we need Gamma 2's sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
We need Piccolo to turn giant orange.
Yep.
So we need that to happen, and then we need, Gohan's transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Gohan that doesn't Gohan has to go back. He needs to go back to being ultimate though, because he's not ultimate yet.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was. Was he?
Well, he's not ultimate in this chapter. He's only Super Saiyan 1.
When he fought Gamma 1,
Mm-hmm.
was
So,
he
yeah,
did he go ultimate?
he got all the way up to ultimate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I honestly was trying to remember from the manga there, but so he needs to get back to ultimate. Piccolo needs to transform, sacrifice, and then beast. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like that'd be a lot to jam in 48 pages next month.
Well, yeah, it depends on how many panels they're gonna like. How many panels are they gonna dedicate to Gamma to sacrifice? It's gonna be like the first two panels, and then or like between that, Krillin's like, "Oh, Piccolo, remember you can get big," because Krillin has to remind Piccolo
Mhm.
of his own skill set. So it'll be interesting, man. That's how I'm just feeling it for it to be completely over. I think they would have to jam it in because I don't think they want to keep this arc going on the hundredth one. I think the hundredth one they want to show new stuff.
I'm trying to think. So October in my world, October would be the sacrifice,
Mm-hmm.
and then the beginnings of big orange Piccolo fight.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be October, and then I would think then November they would, or Piccolo would fight, he'd get beat up, and then Gohan would transform into Beast. And then 100 then would be Beast Gohan winning with Piccolo. And then that's how that arc would end. Like, depending on what they announce at the Comic Con here in a month, I don't know if they would need to show any details or what's coming up in chapter 100. I think they could just end chapter 100 just as the movie ended. And then January, then they start whatever it is that they want to start. I don't know. I think I am stretching this one more chapter, or at least in terms of them probably what you think might happen. But just because they'd have to shove things in there, and I feel like if they didn't want to drag this out and they wanted to do that, chapter 100. I don't know if we get all this extra filler kind of stuff with Trunks and Goten, but maybe.
That would be interesting for the fact that like you go into 2024 having no idea what the next chapter is going to be about. That would be interesting.
New year, new content. Just leave everything that we already had in the past and just get excited for everything moving forward. So
Like that would it's just again, like you said, dragging for one more, which we already know we're closer to the end. And I would be inclined if it got dragged a couple more if they had some more like explanation of the beast transformation. I would be
yeah,
fine with that. I mean,
I wouldn't mind that beginning. Just January, just start of the new year. Explain like because we do need to see. Granted, it was the end credit scene of the movie. We do need to see sort of how the ending of the Goku Vegeta fight went down. Where
mhm.
Vegeta wins it and Broly starts crying because of the magnificence of seeing all that shit, whatever. So I mean, we have to show that, and I assume that would be how chapter or 100 ended. But
Yeah, it's gonna be yeah, because that's true. We got to see that as well, and then like, oh, someone's been trying to call me. I wonder, something must have been happening
well, and
down
then
on Earth.
yeah, yeah, Whis says that, and then Bulma offers Doctor Hedo a job at Capsule Corp. So then he turns into from a main character into a side role, never spoke about again kind of character. But oh well, that's just how it is.
We'll see how they help. I mean, you want to talk about, and then Gamma One becomes a bodyguard. I mean, you talk about a capable bodyguard. That's a pretty capable bodyguard for normal situations. And then Universe 7 gets another good asset since no one in Universe 7 remembers how to sense key or pick up a darn phone. Because
You
like
might, I
TN
feel
and
like
17, you're just really just chilling and you don't sense these massive powers all in one place thinking everything's okay.
kind of hard to make these people stupid and it'd be logical. Just
I think it also just makes me more because like literally the whole planet was fighting in the Moro arc. All of them.
yeah,
Yamcha fought in the Moro arc, man.
yeah.
Like they gathered their army against Moro's army and they were all fighting. And it's like, how do we go from that to like, oh, 17, like we don't even mention 17 or TN or but I guess because Goten and Trunks didn't fight in the Moro thing that they're fighting in this, but it is what it is. But you alluded to it. So a couple weeks ago, Dragon Ball's official site said they're having an exhibit coming to New York Comic Con in 2023. New York Comic Con is October 12th through the 15th um, in the Jaffa Center in New York City. There's going to be a panel, and there's going to be a teaser. First, the first person who came out with this was EBS Hype. But then even the official sites, all the Dragon Ball official sites, do not all that stuff. Toei, all of them said we're coming to New York Comic Con with the teaser. So, Mitch, as you know, the fandom went crazy again because this was the official site saying there's going to be a teaser of something. We do not know what, but there's going to be a teaser of something.
Don't get your hopes up. Everyone listening to this, take my words. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your neighbor, tell your congressman, congresswoman, tell your president, your prime minister, tell them, your godmother, tell whatever religious deity you believe in. And if you don't believe in one, well, just tell Darwin. I don't know. Just don't get your hopes up. Don't get your hopes up. Be like, just expect either nothing is coming out of this, or expect something that they think is cool and we don't. Just like,
Yeah, man, I really don't know what to make of this because they had San Diego Comic Con, which we talked about last month, how they were complete duds and didn't do anything. But now New York Comic Con, right in October, they're saying they're admitting they're coming with a teaser. They just didn't say of what. So of course, all the speculation is it finally a preview for the anime? Is it something for that web series that people have talked about that they're making that's separate from the anime? Which okay, is it the video games? We have no idea. But
I mean, we could get a teaser for a new movie, because just
yeah, no
think
one's brought
about
that
what the
up.
think about the superhero movie, the very first teaser trailer, where it
Mm-hmm.
showed jack shit except for basically Goku and the art style.
Yep.
That was it. Just Goku, just hopping around, and that's all it showed. And it told you there was a movie coming out and nothing more. So maybe that's the teaser you're going to get. You won't find like the teaser might not give you any sort of information other than here's what's in the works. Like video games and movies, they have 2 minute long trailers showcasing everything that's going on, and people will, they'll slow down the video to, half speed, and they'll find all the little Easter eggs they put in there, and then they'll make their predictions. We've all done. But for all you know, you're just going to get what the art style is for the next movie. Or maybe they'll blow the roof off and tell us that January 1st will be the next, the anime will start. And Sean and Chris will come out and they'll be like, yeah, we've been working on this in secret. So buckle up.
It's
Uh,
kind of funny too because you brought up that teaser, which was a really good point on you. Looked it up. The first teaser, that short clip with Goku jumping film logo, that was
mhm.
at San Diego Comic Con. So the biggest Comic Con in the world that just happened a couple months ago in 2021.
Yeah.
So that was the teaser. Then they showed the character designs of people, like the pictures, and then the first real trailer was October 7th, 2021. So you might be on. It could be a movie because they have said that there's going to be. I mean, these past two movies have made a lot of money, so there's going to be more movies.
Yep. Made a ton of money, and they didn't have to work to get us to go see it. So it's like, why not?
Ton of money. Superheroes at 93 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like that's a good. I don't think anyone has brought up movies. It's mostly been anime or the games. I
And,
don't think
and
anyone's brought up like a movie because it's almost the same thing. It's just like this year they're like, all right, it was 2 years ago we announced superhero. It's San Diego this year. To spread the love, we're going to announce the new movie in New York.
I'm just telling people, I'm just speculating. None of the don't think like I'm telling you. I'm not Geekdom. I'm not Chronicles. I'm not Unreal. Unreal doesn't do this much anymore. He's over that shit. He's got his own things. He doesn't even have to. I am not telling you what is happening, and I have no information. I have to put these disclosures out so I don't get killed by the fandom because I can't fight the world, man. Let me tell you. So I I speculate that maybe it's a movie, but they might blow the roof off, and it's an anime. It's sweet. I will say if it's a video game would be sweet. Like a release date for, Tenkaichi 4 or Xenoverse 3. That would be really dope. And I think we would all be really happy. But it's really not what I think the fandom wants at the moment. So it's
Yeah,
like, don't fling video games out just yet. Give us an anime or at least a movie.
yeah, because from the video game perspective, unless they make their whole new story or they just stop caring anymore, you can only go so far. Like super story wise, you can only go to the Tournament of Power, and then you can do the superhero movie. Like you can't play. Like I'm just thinking from like a Tenkaichi standpoint, they can't even use like Ultra Ego Vegeta or Granola or Moro because we haven't seen them in an anime.
Nope.
Unless Xenoverse truly just stops caring, and then they're like, you know what, we're gonna do it.
Yep. Here's the voice actors. I mean, but isn't that how we got the voice actors for Tournament of Power through
Mm.
Xenoverse,
Yep,
didn't
the
we?
English voice. Yep, the English voice actors. Yep.
Yeah, that's how we heard like Jiren and like Dispo first was through the
Mm-hmm.
game. So it's like, no,
Yep, that's a good one too. I mean, what if it's super? Oh man, what if you really just turn it to a firestorm and it's like they're showing a teaser for the new Dragon Ball Super Heroes anime.
I keep getting more superhero stuff. It's just like, or not superhero, the
Heroes,
Dragon Ball
heroes.
Heroes. Yeah, just
Mhm.
heroes. I keep getting more hero stuff. I'm gonna freak out.
Hey, they promote stuff, which they had there because I don't. Were we able to talk about that, or did it come out after our podcast? How they had the finale of their season there. I don't think we.
Honestly, I can't tell you
I don't
because
think we were able to.
no, I don't think so. Heroes just releases their shit sporadically and not in any consistent like time frame, and it's like it's easy to know on the 20th of the month. Prepare to hear this podcast episode. Just new manga chapter out. But with that, we'll go. Sometimes it feels like we'll go 6 weeks. We'll go 6 minutes, and it's just like just
No, we didn't get
back
a chance to because it came out 3 weeks ago. So it came out after our episode. Yeah, because I remember we were just like, oh, here we go. But just real quick on that. I mean, Heroes had a really good final episode. We finally got to see Goku versus Goku. Xeno
Yep.
Goku versus like our continuality, well, not our, the main
Oh
story continuality
yeah.
is Goku. So
Yep.
we didn't get to talk about that last pod, but real quickly, I mean, that was a really good ending. And from a power scaling perspective, I mean, obviously the main continuality Goku won because he's the one who they're going to be selling more toys for and has more of a story. But it wasn't a cakewalk. Like it wasn't Goku
Mm.
of Xeno went Super Saiyan 4, like the Limit Breaker thing. Goku only beat him because he went mastered, and like Omen and Super Saiyan 4 were going at it.
That's the thing, and again, I know it's not canon, but I mean, if you need to have any more of a debate as to who's more powerful between, the debate of Super Saiyan 4 or Super Saiyan Blue, if Super Saiyan 4 can compete with Omen, UI Omen Goku, Super Saiyan 4 is greater than Blue. I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, that the case closed. It would seem like I do think it's appropriate though that MUI just overpowers everything because, as you have said on numerous occasions, Heroes treats MUI as it should be, as a basically like a goat transformation that
Oh
or
yeah.
not transformation, a goat technique. Like it is the end all be all whenever it shows up in Heroes. So
Oh yeah, and I mean I wasn't even because I mean personally Super Saiyan 4 is my favorite form just from how it treats like the history of the Saiyan race that we've been told all that stuff and all that jazz. But I wasn't mad about it at all. I felt like MUI had to win, and even if you watch it, like MUI Goku dodged Super Saiyan 4 and landed a solid hit on the other Goku. The other Goku didn't die; he just fell to the ground, knocked out. I was like, oh, I lost. And even after MUI Goku won, as soon as he hit that other Goku, he dropped in the base and he was on the ground. So it was not a cakewalk.
yep, it was not.
So that was really cool to see. There was a lot of other fights. I wish they had more time showing that they were showing in like the clips and stuff. But seeing the Goku versus Goku thing was pretty cool. The only thing I wish that they would have gave him a little bit more time and they would have gave him the animation that they gave Goku versus Hearts because that's one of the best episodes of like recent Dragon Ball memory.
Yeah, it was very, very good animation. Yeah.
But Mitch, man, we're gonna know on that middle of the week of October because when this
Well,
came out, that the fandom it got bad. Like you already named some of the top people, they were defending their takes because we're gonna get the "I told you so's." This was coming out, or I knew this was coming. Blah blah. The fans were like, "We're not having it. You've been lying about this stuff for years." Them defending show like
yeah,
I joke. I joke saying someone's gonna lose their job in that Comic Con. Obviously, they're not going to, but someone, someone, or some people, they are going to lose a lot of their someone's fandom is getting killed. Like from
yep,
a follower perspective, from a trust perspective, like it's gonna get bad.
yep. People are writing on this Comic Con, and
Mm-hmm.
I, I'll be honest with you. I pray that I don't make mistakes, down the years where I push all my chips in and tell you, yep, here comes a new anime, here comes a new, here comes new voice actors, here's new movie, and then it's all freaking wrong. Like, just because, I mean, these guys, they did it for 5 years. Just whoever their sources are, they ain't good. They're bad. They're horrible. They need yeah, all these guys think they're Adam Schefter, and they're just freaking they're Mitch Osa. They just ain't good at this stuff. Hot garbage. But anyways,
That's true because everyone's been saying this stuff's going to come back for 5 years, and now this web anime that no one knows anything about is supposed to be announced in 2023. We get to October. I mean, there's only going to be 3 months left for them to announce something of that nature and for it to start. And it's like, would that even garner any fandom because it's not the anime continuation? It's just, it's just going to get bad, man. It's and my worst, God forbid, what they do is they show some of the extended scenes of the Battle of Gods movie, which is hitting its 10-year anniversary, which is
that
great because I'm thinking Dragon Ball's petty. They do something like that.
would be hilarious if they announced at New York Comic Con, hey, we're going to re-release all of the movies that we had with extended scenes, and that is
Dude, they would do something like that.
kind of like what they did with Avengers, with Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the Russos came out and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna re-release Avengers Endgame with like 8 minutes of unseen footage,"
Yeah,
and
and they
then
got people in the theaters.
yep, and then what was it? Half freaking completed CGI Smart Hulk saving people from a fire in a hotel or apartment building. Hot garbage.
Dude,
Just so that they can get past Avatar.
they would do it, and then Avatar re-released and pass them again. That's some petty stuff, but man, I'm nervous. I mean, like I am not expecting much at all. Obviously, I'm going to be glued because it's the world's going to go crazy. The anime, when you go check your Twitter and you see Dragon Ball trending for all of the middle of October, it's going to be for good or bad.
I'm pessimistic. I'm saying bad. I'm saying bad.
I
And like
yeah
at this point, it's like make me happy. Don't make me hopeful.
yeah I'm not
So,
expecting anything. I mean, I'm not expecting anything crazy. because they're like, oh, there might be some voice actors there. I was like, well, it would be Makoa, but I was like, you really want her just traveling all over the place? Don't you want to preserve her?
I'll say this: if October 12th comes and new anime or something movie, we'll have an emergency podcast.
There
If
you
it's
go. You hear it
not,
from Mitch Oso first.
if it's not, if it's like a video game or it's a joke, I'll see you on the 20th because I'll need 8 days to cool the fuck off.
Man, you heard it from Mitch. That means you would get two podcasts from Mitch because you'd have that one and then the manga chapter. Well, you
Yep.
heard it here first. If it's the anime emergency pod on the 15th, if not, you'll hear him on the 20th
If it's a movie trailer announcement, we'll do a
movie.
tiny just yeah. If it's a video, well, I don't know. Just anticipate if it's a sweet video game like Tenkaichi 4, Xenoverse 3,
The anniversary would be
or
wild.
anime or movie. I don't think I would do it or care enough to do an emergency podcast if they were like, the manga's going to continue on January 1st. No fucking shit. Like, it's going
Oh
to
my god, I just thought of that. If they did a teaser for the manga
yeah.
about what's the new things coming, holy I didn't think about that till you said that.
Yep. Yeah, prepare to get force fed shit, man.
They could do that too. They could be like, oh, it's a teaser. We just, did some
Yep.
effects with the manga chapters that were going to be previewed. That is crazy.
New original content since the past like year we've been doing this freaking movie retelling or whatnot or
It's
yep.
in. I know. I just love how this one got a full movie retelling, and then Broily only got like a snippet, like, "Oh yeah, this happened, but we didn't have time." But I guess that's what happens when you don't promote a movie. It becomes the number one opening movie in the world its first weekend.
Make it make sense, man.
And I don't even want to ask about like, oh, if it's a movie, what do you think? Because I don't want to go through that rabbit hole because that's what the fans do. And then
Yep.
they start getting super excited. And then when it's not that, it's gets bad. The only thing I will ask you, because I asked you off air, is there was rumors, because that's all the community is, of Black Frieza's arc getting a movie, like Avengers style. How would you feel about that?
A two-part movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be fine with a two-part movie. I don't think a one-part movie is probably the way to go because I would assume that if that little tidbit at the ending of Z when Oob gets introduced at the tournament, it's kind of like Team Four Star. If anyone has watched, their Boo Bits, which is basically their quick little shorts or the entire Boo arc, they're not making full episodes like what they did all the way up to Cell. That last episode of Z, they made fun of everything that's happening in Super right now. Like Vegeta and Goku are talking, Bulma comes and they're asking they're like, yeah, where's Beerus? And then Vegeta's like, yeah, he's probably sleeping. Or like, is Frieza still around? And then like they're like, no idea. Like if Black Frieza is what ends Super, then he needs to go out with a bang. So he needs like a two-part movie to end it. He
Yeah,
needs a proper villain send off.
and they need to kill him because
Yeah,
the end of Z is supposed to like they said all this stuff is happening before the end of Z. Obviously, the ending's still the same. Goku training Oob, yada yada yada. Goku can't randomly just go take Oob to go train with him if Black Frieza's still running around.
You want to know what should happen at the end of the Black Frieza arc?
Hmm.
Vegeta should Hakai Frieza from existence.
He should, but is it going to happen? You know, absolutely not.
Well, that would make up for all of the shit that Vegeta ever went through to be the second man in this. Whenever he gets his ass beat by Granola and his super ultra ego form gets beat his ass beat by you just name it. Pick a person's name, put it in front of the sentence, and then follow it with beats Vegeta's ass. Like, it's just, they can give that man the ultimate closure to his entire arc, his entire history. If he learns how to Akai and he Akais the shit out of, Black Frieza, so that he's not just in hell, meditating on how to get revenge. No, he is gone forever.
Fun fun fact, Unreal, one of his biggest fan mangas that he just finished part of, Vegeta actually does Hakai Frieza.
You
So
I haven't actually read any of his stuff since
since
the
Myrna, which was God
Mona.
tier.
Yeah.
But it's it's crazy. We're gonna see, man. We're October, it's gonna be here before you know it. Like, it's already the 20th. September is over next week. We're already gonna be in countdown mode for that, bro.
Yeah.
And everyone's gonna be speculating. Twitters are gonna get hot and emotional. Like, it's fans, and these people clap back at the fans, and then they don't back down, and it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy. We already blinked it. I can't believe it's been 10 years since Battle of Gods.
It's wild to think back to 2013.
And just think
Lord.
about if that movie doesn't do as well as it does. If that movie and Resurrection F doesn't hit their little quotas or whatever, we don't even get Super. This wasn't supposed to happen.
Nope, it wasn't.
Mitch, anything else?
Nope, that is it for me, I believe.
Man, with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to L7C podcast. You already know, middle of October, 12th through the 15th, Dragon Ball will be at New York Comic Con. They have said themselves they're coming with a teaser of something. They've kept it coy. Just be prepared for people on Twitter to be like, "Oh, I knew what the teaser was. I just wasn't allowed to say it." Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
But
they can eat one.
but we'll be excited if it is something special. We'll do an emergency pod that day. If it's not, we're gonna have to stew in it until the 20th and be like, "What the hell are you doing?" And yeah, we'll be back. With that being said, get ready. As Mitch said earlier, I know it's hard. Keep the expectations low, because if you don't keep them low, then you're just going to feel defeated. You
Yep.
really are. And with that being said, L7C podcast signing out. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.